This is B3 Conversations. I beat you to the draw. Suck it, boy. We're continuing our little series on talents that we may play during Classic if we play these classes. Today is...
Druid.
Let's get the races out of the way right away because there's only two.
Dose.
One on each faction.
Yeah. Tauren and Night Elf.
Yep. And they both of their racials
make
well,
excellent for either one.
Well with it. I did 0, 39, 12 on my spec, which means I didn't put anything into balance. I went really heavily into a feral combat, which if you never played it, there was a time when
Guardian Druid and Feral wasn't
a real thing.
Yeah, there was Feral, and
there was Feral, and you did both.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I did here. I took some talents in both so that I could either run deeps or I could run tank. And then 19 or 12, I mean, in restoration. In restoration, all I took was improved
Mark of the Wild.
Mark of the Wild. I took improved Mark of the Wild and Pure on the first tier. Because I thought those were both good. Improved Mark of the Wild just increases the effectiveness of your Mark of the Wild and Gift of the Wild spells by 35% if you go all 5 deep, which I did.
Same.
And then Pure gives you a 100% chance to gain 10 rage when you shapeshift into Bear, Dire Bear, or 40 energy when you shapeshift into cat form. So those, I thought that was good just because like I said, I'm going to be
one or the other.
I'm either going to be tanking as bear or DPSing as a cat. And it's nice to, when you pop into it, to immediately have some of your abilities up because you've got energy or you've got rage. And then I took improved enrage on the next tier down, the second tier. I took both of those, which instantly generates 10 rage.
I did as well.
Oh, you took that as well? Oh, okay. And then in Feral, I took Ferocity, which reduces the cost of some of your abilities by rage or energy. I only took 1 point of Feral Aggression because I think I was to a point where I was like, I don't know what to do with this last point, so I threw it in there. And it just it'll increase my attack power. Oh, the attack power reduction of my demoralizing roar by 8%, and the damage caused by my ferocious bite, which is a cat ability, by 3%. So I thought a little extra there is cool. Next tier down, I took improved armor with thick hide, and I went all 5 in that, and then feral instinct, I took that as well.
All 5.
I took all 5. I went 5 deep in that because it increases the threat generated. Increases threat generation in bear form and reduces the chance of being detected while a stealthed cat. So, I thought that was worth having. Next tier down, third tier, I took 1 in feline swiftness out of 2, so it just means that I can move 15% faster while outdoors as a cat. If I had taken both of them, it would have been 30%, and it also gives me a 2% chance to dodge. That one, it would probably be worth having both in it if you were a night elf because of the dodge that they've got.
Yeah.
I took feral charge. It's a charge like a warrior charge, but you do it as a bear. I think that's a totally worthwhile ability.
I think it's a shorter range than the warrior, because I always remember the bears had to be much closer than a warrior.
It may be. And then I took sharpened claws, which just increases critical strike chance. And then I took the 2 abilities that are joined to that. One being
Blood Frenzy and Primal Fury.
Primal Fury, 100% chance to gain additional 5 rage anytime I get a critical strike, and then the other one is a cat form ability. Critical strikes in cat ability, add combo points. You have a 100% chance to add an additional combo point. Something like that. Okay?
Yep.
I also took the Big Tooth, improved Shred, which is a cat ability. Like I said, I took a lot of abilities in this so that I could actually be a really good cat and a decent tank. I don't remember how good they tanked back in Classic. It seems to me some of the dungeons like Razorfen Crawl and Razorfen Downs, I can remember running those, and it seemed like you could pull threat off a bear somewhat easily.
The druids had a hard time tanking until they got their dire bear form.
Oh yeah, that's
at
right.
40.
Yeah.
And by that point, they had more health from it, more armor.
Yeah.
And a better threat.
Maybe
Right.
better threat generation.
Yeah.
Is that a bear form, but pretty much like improved bear form?
Pretty much, yeah.
Sort of.
It's just
but you still
better.
have both of them.
You still have both of them, but it's just better. Yeah.
I took Predatory Strikes, increase your melee attack power in cat and bear form, which is totally worth having. Another thing I took, which I think is awesome, was Feral, or Fairy Fire Feral. Basically what that was it was a debuff. Fairy Fire is a debuff that druids we used to cast, and until you can get that talent though, you have to be out of shapeshift form. You have to be either your Tauren or your Night Elf
Humanoid form.
Yeah.
in order to cast it. But once you have that talent, now you can cast it while shapeshifted, which is absolutely 100% worth it. Because it decreases the armor of the target for like 40 seconds, and they can't stealth or turn invisible or stuff like that. In fact, that was one of the things that, as I recall, in PvP, druids tried to get off on rogues and, well, other druids.
Yeah.
As much as possible to prevent them from, it would prevent rogues from vanishing and junk like that, kind of deal, for 40 seconds. Which doesn't seem like much, but
When you can't stealth and you're pretty squishy,
that's a long damn time.
Yeah.
going.
So, Savage Fury is the other one I took. And it just increases damage caused by, looks like some of your cat and maybe some of your bear strikes or attacks. Not a big deal. Heart of the Wild, which increases your intellect. In addition, while in bear and dire bear form, your stamina is increased by 20%, and while in cat form, your strength is increased by 20%. And then the last thing I took in that was Leader of the Pack, which is a buff. Is it a buff, or is it just a passive?
It's a buff. It's a passive buff.
It's while you're in the forms, it just applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, while in cat and bear form, the Leader of the Pack increases ranged and melee critical strike chance of all party members within 45 yards by 3%, which I think is another good deal if you're, regardless, because that's a good buff.
Yeah.
And you'll always find one druid in battlegrounds or in a dungeon. Not all the time, but usually.
Yeah, it was pretty regular, I suppose. And that's all I took. I don't remember how healing was in Classic WoW,
For a druid,
but I don't think it was
Great.
great.
I tried it. It's crap. It was crap.
I think it was really hard to do. I think they were out of mana all the darn time.
And it was
It was a
and they're-
micromanaging hell. They had most of their heals were heal over times, which they had to manage on everybody, and they cost a lot, and they didn't last super long. It was probably doable to be a decent druid healer. It was just a lot to do.
Yeah. Now that being said, as we've said repeatedly throughout all of these, the player base is more savvy now than they used to be. So maybe people will be able to look at this and go, "Oh no, with this talent setup, you could totally do it and be fine," which is a possibility. I just don't know.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, They were the only ones who had a resurrect that required a regent.
The battle res.
They had a battle res.
That was
No,
battle
both the reses needed a regent. They both needed the seed. One needed a special seed and the other one needed an improved version of it.
I'd have to look into that. I don't know.
I don't
I know that they were the only one with a battle res.
Yes.
Yeah. Other
Right.
than shaman, which
But that's not technically a battle res because the only person they can res is themselves, whereas the druid,
Could res
as
anybody.
long as they were alive, they could battle res anybody. Typically,
warlocks technically have one too, but it had to be applied before you died.
I suppose I consider that more of a buff.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways,
it was a pain.
boomkins, I don't remember how good they were or not. I know that there were times when they were considered good, and times when they were considered not so much.
It all depended on the patch of the time. They went up and down, all the damn time. Boomkins.
And I'm sure there's some really good abilities in there that I didn't take. Improved entangling roots is probably something that would be worth taking. But a lot of it has to do with casting, so I wasn't really sure most of that would help me. So I didn't take any of it, truthfully.
If you could get to improved thorns, that would be pretty good on you. The improved thorns buff, where it increases your damage.
Yeah, I remember the thorns buff, but I don't know that I would give up anything out of this other tree to get it.
Yeah. Or even in feral.
You know what I mean?
It would probably be better for a full healer to get the improved thorns.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If you were going to go resto, you probably should go all the way deep enough into that. But there's probably other good ones in here for that too. There are. Omen of Clarity, that might be worth having if you're a healer.
Omen of Clarity, I think, only works for like cat and bear form stuff.
Nope. The clear casting state reduces the mana, rage, or energy cost of your next damage or healing spell or offensive ability by 100% last 10 minutes.
Each of the druid's melee attacks has a chance to cause the caster to enter a clear casting state.
So? You're saying that...
No, I'm not saying that they can't hit things with their stick or their mace or whatever. I'm just saying that bears and cats are going to do it more often. And if the healer's running into the kill box to try to get a clear casting effect, she's probably going to die anyway.
True. Alright, so since I'm going to go next because my build is pretty close to his, as we said, I pretty much went the exact same 5-point top tier, or bottom tier, whatever you want to call it, in Restoration, with improved Mark of the Wild and Furor, as well as improved Enraged. That is where our varies, because I spent one more point and got Insect Swarm, which the enemy target is swarmed by insects, decreasing their chance to hit by 2% and causing 66 nature damage over 12 seconds. So my whole thought process is, as a tank druid more often than not, because I mean, cat is fun and all, but bear, yeah, exactly.
It's a bear. I'm down with that program.
My whole thought process is, start the fight with that and then go into bear form with the benefits of Furor as well as improved Enraged. You can have a lot of rage right there, and they can't hit you as often, and they're taking damage, which is nice. For Feral, I went 37. In balance, I went 1, and in balance, I took Nature's Grasp because once I had everything said and done, I was left with 1 point, such as him. And I figured, well, that's the only 1 point that I can get to. It's not going to hurt nothing. And what it does is, while active, anytime an enemy strikes the caster, they have a 35% chance to become affected by Entangling Roots, rank 1. Only usable outdoors, 1 charge, lasts 45 seconds. So
it's a temporary buff that you have to reapply it every time it gets triggered.
yes. Which isn't a bad idea if you're in a battleground, because lots of them are outside, so if somebody like a rogue hits you, you have a chance to stun, or lock them down and get away.
It's a root.
Yeah. Well, it locks them down. They can't move.
Literally, it's entangling roots.
It's roots. Yeah, it's a root.
So
Okay.
There's that. And then I went Ferocity as well. Thick Hide. Feral Instinct. Did we both get? You didn't get Brutal Impact, did you?
I did not. I did not take Brutal Impact.
Neither did I. I went.
Although I think that's worth having.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Increases your stun duration by bash or pounce abilities, which is nice. But I went the full 2 points of feral or feline swiftness, excuse me, for the 30% dodge while in cat form.
4%?
The 4% and the 30%
4% dodge and 30% movement speed.
Yes,
30% dodge. Holy crap.
Shut up.
Definitely gotta be a night elf.
Awesome.
Gotta be a night elf.
30%, you could be either. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but just think how much more terrible it'd be if you were a night elf.
It'd be 31%.
That's what I'm talking about.
Then I went Feral Charge, as well as Sharpened Claws into Primal Fury and Blood Frenzy. And
I think from there down it was the same, wasn't it?
yeah, the only thing that's different is I did not get Improved Shred. But yeah, everything else I got. Did you get Savage Fury? Yep. Everything he talked about I got except for
Shred.
That's
Improved Shred.
That's literally the only thing I didn't get. And the 1 point in Feral Aggression.
Excellent.
Yep.
Alright. I did something completely different. My spread is 24, 0, 27. That's 24 in balance, nothing in feral combat, and 27 in restoration. I didn't really want to be a cat or a bear, shocking, or a moon owl. So, but I did want to cast things. I wanted to be a caster. So I went far enough into balance to have really strong arcane and nature damaging spells. And I went far enough in restoration to have some good heals as well, to keep myself or anybody else alive in an emergency. In balance, what I got was Improved Wrath, which reduces the cast time of your Wrath spell by 0.5 seconds, so half a second off. Then I went down and I got Improved Entangling Roots and Improved Moonfire. Improved Entangling Roots gives you a 100% chance to avoid interruptions caused by damage while casting Entangling Roots. So it's always going to cast effectively, efficiently. And Improved Moonfire increases the damage and critical strike chance of your Moonfire spell by 10%. Jumping down from there, I got Nature's Reach, which increases the range of your Wrath, Entangling Roots, Fairy Fire, Moonfire, Starfire, and Hurricane spells by 20%. So that you're further away from the kill box and better off. And then I got Vengeance, which increases the critical strike damage bonus of your Starfire, Moonfire, and Wrath spells by 100%, doubling the critical strike damage that they do. And then I got Nature's Grace. All spell criticals grace you with a blessing of nature, reducing cast times of your next spells by half a second. So anytime you crit, the next spell you cast is going to be faster. And I also took Moonglow, which reduces the mana cost of your Moonfire, Starfire, Wrath, Healing Touch, Regrowth, and Rejuvenation spells by 9%. Moving over to Restoration, I also got Improved Mark of the Wild. It's a better buff, it's always good. And then I took Improved Healing Touch, which reduces the cast time of your Healing Touch spells by half a second. And then I took Reflection. Allows 15% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting, so you don't have to worry about being out of mana as much, slightly, a tiny bit. And I also got Insect Swarm, and I took Subtlety, which...
All 5?
Just 2, which reduces the threat generated by your healing spells by, at 2 points, 8%, but if you have 5 points, 20%, I believe. And then I took 4 points in Tranquil Spirit, which reduces the mana cost of your Healing Touch and Tranquility spells by 8%. The Healing Touch stacks with Moonglow from Balance, so that spell just costs way less. And then the little tie-on talent way down from improved healing touch, nature's swiftness. When activated, your next nature spell becomes instant cast. So a wrath or a heal just becomes instant, no worries. Then I also took 4 points in Gift of Nature and 2 points in Improved Tranquility. Improved Tranquility reduces the threat caused by Tranquility by 100%. If ever 90% of the people in your group are almost dead, you can just use Tranquility and then they just instantly won't be almost dead. Tranquility, I think, was the strongest heal in the game, period. But it was a channeled, and it healed for so much that you were almost guaranteed
And it was an AoE.
It was a huge channeled AoE heal that almost guaranteed you were going to pull threat off of everybody. But with this, that doesn't happen anymore. That can't happen.
Okay.
And Gift of Nature, it increases the healing effect of your spells by 8% at 4 points. That's what I got.
Now looking at balance, there's obviously some talents they expected you to take if you were going feral. On the second tier down, there's natural weapons, which increases all damage you do with physical attacks in all forms. That's up to 10%. Then it ties on to Omen of Clarity, and so it's obvious that some of that stuff should be considered, especially if you're doing what I'm doing. But I think in order to get those, you would have to decide, well, I'm going to go mostly cat and then get rid of some of your bear talents in order to get those, or you're going to go mostly bear and get rid of some of your cat. But so probably what I have here is going to be a marginal bear and a marginal cat, and I'm going to suck.
Unless you get really, really good at both, and then you'll make up the difference between the failings of your talents.
Yeah, because there used to be druids
If I'm
who
good
would
enough.
switch
That's what I'm
between forms.
Yeah.
They would do essentially like warriors, stance, except they would just shift between the forms when the situation needed it.
And if you did that a lot, there's a talent in balance called Natural Shapeshifter, which reduces the mana cost of all of your shapeshift spells by up to 30%.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to switch constantly, that's worth having. Yeah.
And if you had the Fuhrer, right, gives you a 100% chance for rage and all that shit, that good stuff.
While switching between, it gives you rage or it gives
40
you
energy, which plays off of each other.
Yeah. So
There's lots of talents.
obviously it should all be looked at.
Yeah, with a fairly objective eye. Yeah, they obviously had some people will play around and dance between the forms, maybe. It just seems like that's what they had in mind.
And to be honest, there's no problem picking one or the other with Feral. If you're going to be a cat player, be a cat player. Pick the cat abilities. Play cat.
Be a DPS.
Be DPS. No, there's no problem.
DPS.
They have great DPS.
Yeah.
They're very similar to rogues. Which one does all the bleeds? Is that subtlety?
That's assassination.
Assassination. They're essentially like assassination rogues.
Assassination did poisons.
Bleed and poisons. It's more poison nowadays, where subtlety's more bleeding nowadays. But back in the day, it was bleeding and poisons. Because subtlety was just straight damage.
If you don't know, you should watch our rogue video.
Yep.
It might say in there.
It might.
It might not.
And if not,
Oops. And then Bear was pretty much like Protection Warrior.
it was a worse protection warrior,
It still got the job done. It still did.
Yes, they could get the job
Couldn't get
done.
the job done, yes.
If you had a reliable team and good enough healer that you've played with for a long enough time.
They, as I recall, the Bear Druids, their best friend was Growl,
Yep.
which was
Yeah,
their
which was
taunt.
Yes.
It was their best friend because most of the time they would have to have that. They'd have to pop that, every
time it
encounter.
was off cooldown, they would have to use it.
Pretty close. It got used a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if they had an AoE taunt. They might have.
Nobody did, I don't. Well, druids might have with all the
Thunderclap
roars.
was kind of a
AoE
taunt.
Because he did pull a lot of aggro, and I think you could use it while in bear form.
Thunderclap
Was
a
a
warrior
thing.
ability.
Is that the warrior ability I'm talking
I
about?
thought you were talking about War Stomp. Excuse me.
No, that doesn't generate any.
Actually, I think when you tried to War Stomp as a
Torn?
Tauren,
Did
I
it
think
kick
it
you?
actually kicked you out and you became a Tauren. While it did its little cast bar, then you stomped and you'd have to go back into bear form. I don't think you could just use it and have it.
Did bears have a Thunderclap ability?
I don't
They
think
had
so.
a swipe, which was like cleave.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had swipe, which was like a cleave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they had anything that was similar to Thunderclap.
I only played druids a little tiny bit during Classic. I don't think I got above maybe low 20s. So there was a lot of things that I didn't experience as a druid. It's not like priests and rogues where I played the living hell out of both of them.
I think I got the highest druid I ever got was into the 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about classes and
Races.
talked about
the whole
races.
druid.
And there's no special racial abilities
Nope, that's just priests.
because they were awesome and deserved it.
Or it was because they sucked and needed it.
I think they were just super squishy.
And that literally could go either way.
I don't even know about that because if you got some of their improved shields from discipline,
And improved inner fire from discipline.
yeah,
You were tough.
You
They
could
were
get pretty
pretty
tough.
tough,
It took
yeah.
a while, but they are challenging.
Perhaps they were to help level up since you got them so early. 10 and 20.
I think so
Yeah, that makes sense. And then they just scaled way out of control.
because druids, they're pretty tough right away.
Yeah. You get
I mean, if you decide,
you get bear form right at level 10.
Yeah. After you do the
you do your
quest.
quest,
Yep.
and then you get your bear form,
And then when you hit 20, you get cat form. And then you gotta wait forever until you get boomkin.
and then Boomkin is
Boomkin's
a
a
talent.
Yeah, which is why you gotta
So-
wait forever.
And then at 14 or 16, you got your travel form.
16, you got your aquatic form. You didn't get your travel form until 30.
I thought it was 20.
Nope.
To match the hunters.
Nope.
No. They didn't have none of that junk. None of that junk was matched
It
up.
wasn't matched up like it is now. It
Yeah,
wasn't
none of
fair.
that stuff. It was all the way fair. If you wanted that stuff, you picked that class.
And you worked
That's what
for
I'm
it.
saying. It wasn't babying people.
Well, who gets their fast form at 20? Was that Shaman? With Ghost Wolf?
Ghost Wolf, I thought was in the team.
Ghost Wolf was at like 14.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Hunters got their
Cheetah.
cheetah aspect at level 20.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking shamans.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on.
Shaman,
Shaman,
awesome.
Ghost Wolf, come on.
Or the Horde.
Just look at our Shaman video.
Yes. Hey, you don't know what we're talking about? Watch the shaman video. I don't really have anything else.
No,
They're kind of just the all-around class, you know?
they can be.
Yeah,
they
if
should have
you-
been.
yeah.
They should have been.
Yeah.
Now I don't know that they were during Classic, but they should have been. They should have had massive amounts of
Utility.
Versatility.
You know,
and stuff.
it's
yeah.
kind of like the paladins, but
And the shaman.
maybe not.
Maybe
as
not
effective.
as much, yeah.
Somehow, I don't think they were quite as effective as either one of those at multiple utility.
No.
But I don't know.
And again,
I
it might
won't
just
say
come
that they
down
weren't.
to people were not super good at it, and they were just making it up as they go. And people today will be all math and calculators and figuring out the exact numbers and what to do and where to get it and when to do it.
Yeah, and if you want that, go to Icy Veins or one of them other places.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I want to play
Fun.
and have a good time and have it be fun
yeah.
and just go for it, you know? It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yep.
It'll be fun. It'll be great.
All right, that's it.
This is B3 Conversations. We're signing off. Like, comment, subscribe. Or if you don't, dislike. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'm Talon.
Elijah.
Jonah.
Adios.
See ya.
What?
And our last video will be mages. Whenever we get the ones that are needing to be finished,
Done.
edited.
Oh.